dream it all. Listen close and join my song. Gentle stories all night long. Snuggle in and rest your head. Magic dreams will now be spread. Close your eyes so calm and bright. Now begins our dream. Begins our dream tonight.
Lulu and the Star-Collecting Beetle. It was a quiet night, but something felt thinner. Lulu stood at the edge of a low hill, looking up at the sky. The moon was soft and round, the breeze gentle, but the stars, so many were gone. Not hidden, gone. The sky looked like it had forgotten part of itself. She took a slow breath and stepped forward, her hooves pressing into the dewy grass. The usual hum of night creatures was quieter too. Everything seemed to be holding back, waiting. Then she saw it. A faint trail of glowing dots on the ground, tiny specks of light, like breadcrumbs made of stardust. They pulsed gently, leading down into the valley. Lulu followed, careful and curious. With each step, the air felt more hushed, like she was walking through someone's dream. At the base of the hill, beside a quiet stream, sat a small round beetle. He had a dark green shell, smooth and shiny, and strapped to his back was a glass jar filled with soft, flickering lights. Stars, tiny ones, not burning or sharp, but gentle, like the kind of stars you might find inside a memory. The beetle looked up as Lulu approached. He didn't seem surprised to see her. "I'm Milo," he said in a voice that sounded like the creak of an old wooden box. "You noticed they were missing too?" Lulu nodded. "Where did they go?" He tapped the jar lightly. They weren't taken, just unspoken, lost before they were named. I find them and keep them safe, for a while. Lulu watched the lights swirl inside the jar. They moved slowly, like they were breathing. "I didn't know stars could be lost," she said softly. "Only the quiet ones," Milo replied. "The ones that live in hearts but never make it to the sky." He turned and pointed his small antennae toward a narrow path winding through the trees. "I'm taking them to the clearing, the one where forgotten things wait. You can come, if you like. There's still space for more light." Without needing to ask why, Lulu followed. And as they walked, the stars inside the jar shimmered just a little brighter. The path curved gently through the trees, and the farther they walked, the softer everything seemed. Even the moonlight bent to avoid waking the leaves. Milo's jar glowed like a lantern made of memories, lighting the way not ahead, but inward. Lulu stayed close, her steps slow and light. She noticed that the glow from the jar sometimes pulsed when she thought of something she couldn't name, half memories, forgotten hopes, a feeling from long ago that had no words. Milo didn't explain. He didn't need to. Suddenly, a flutter stirred the silence. High above them, hidden in a thick branch, two bright eyes blinked in the dark. A small owl peeked out, round, gray, and trembling ever so slightly. Her feathers puffed and unpuffed like she couldn't decide whether to hide or speak. "I saw your light," the owl whispered. It made the dark feel less sharp. Milo looked up. "Would you like to come with us?" The owl hesitated. "But I live in the dark. I'm supposed to be fine with it." Lulu stepped closer to the tree. "It's okay not to be fine with something, even if it's supposed to be yours." The owl blinked, thinking. "I'm Tella," she said at last, "and I think maybe I've been pretending not to be scared for too long." She flapped gently down from the branch and landed beside Lulu. The moment her claws touched the path, the jar on Milo's back shimmered. One of the stars inside flared softly, then settled. Tella noticed. "Was that mine?" Milo nodded. "One you lost a while ago, but not too far." They continued together. The forest grew deeper, but no darker. With each step, the jar seemed to remember more than it carried. And ahead, in the spaces between shadows, something waited, something silent and heavy, yet kind. The path narrowed as they reached a place where the trees grew close together, their trunks like ancient pillars holding up the quiet. The ground was softer here, covered in moss and scattered with round, smooth stones that gave off a faint glow, as if they had been touched by starlight long ago. Lulu paused. Something about the place felt heavy, but not in a bad way. It was the kind of weight that comes from stillness, from patience. Milo stopped too, adjusting the jar on his back. "This is where I usually meet him," he said. "Who?" asked Tella, her voice hushed as if the trees might listen. There was no answer at first. Then, from behind a large stone, a figure stepped forward, round, soft, and quiet as dusk. A small bear, his fur a dusty gray-brown, his eyes gentle but distant. He said nothing. Instead, he lifted a paw and held out a tiny stone. It pulsed faintly in his palm, pale blue, like the glow of a memory before it becomes a dream. "This is Bim," Milo said. "He doesn't speak with words. He speaks through these." Bim offered the stone to Lulu. When she touched it, a warm wave of feeling washed over her, not a thought, not a picture, but something like the feeling of falling asleep beside someone who doesn't need you to explain anything. Tella fluttered closer. "He stores feelings in the stones?" Milo nodded. "One's too quiet to keep alive any other way." Bim gave a slow smile and handed a stone to Tella. Then he pressed one to his own chest and closed his eyes. For a moment, everything around them grew stiller than silence. The forest itself seemed to listen. The stars in Milo's jar shimmered again. 2 of them blinked like soft laughter. Lulu stepped closer to Bim. "Would you like to come with us?" The little bear looked down, then nodded. And so they walked on, Milo with his jar of forgotten stars, Tella with her wide, wondering eyes, Bim with his stones of silent feelings, and Lulu with something new blooming in her heart. Not a wish exactly, more like the shape of a promise. The trees began to thin, the sky opening just enough to let the soft light of Milo's jar stretch farther ahead. The path gave way to a gentle slope that led into a hidden clearing, round, quiet, and filled with strange, beautiful things. Old feathers tied to strings swayed from low branches. Half-buried toys peeked out from the moss. Tiny notes folded into leaves waited beside stones that glowed faintly from within. It was not a place of sadness. It was a place of pausing, where things waited patiently to be remembered. Milo stepped into the center and set his jar down on a smooth stone that looked like it had been shaped by wind and time. The lights inside flickered faster now, recognizing the place. "This is where they rest," he said quietly. "The quiet stars, the unspoken things, until someone remembers them." Bim walked slowly to the edge of the clearing and placed one of his stones beneath a curled root. The moment it touched the earth, a pale light shimmered up the bark like a slow exhale. Tella perched on a nearby branch, watching everything with wide, almost teary eyes. "I didn't know forgotten things could feel so peaceful." "They're not lost," Milo replied, "just waiting for their shape again." Lulu stepped forward and looked into the jar. One small light hovered near the glass, brighter than the rest. As she reached toward it, it pulsed once, and a sound echoed gently inside her, hooves running through wet grass. Laughter, a lullaby never finished. Her eyes softened. "I remember this," she whispered. "I just don't know what it is." Milo touched her hoof gently. "You don't have to name it. You just have to carry it." The jar opened. Slowly, one by one, the stars floated out, drifting toward the trees, the ground, the roots, the quiet sky. They didn't rise. They settled, like seeds. And in the soft stillness that followed, everyone stayed very still. No one needed to speak. They all felt it. Something had returned. Not loudly, just enough. The clearing glowed now, not brightly, not like a fire or a flash, but softly, like a breath held close to the heart. The tiny stars had found places to rest, nestled in moss, woven into bark, sleeping beneath smooth stones. The jar on Milo's back was empty, but not sad. It shimmered faintly with the glow of something fulfilled. Lulu stood beside it, watching the lights pulse like small dreams. Tella fluttered down from her branch and curled her feathers close, her eyes sleepy but calm. "I don't feel afraid anymore," she said. her voice almost a yawn. Not of the dark. Not when it holds things like this. Milo looked to Bim, who sat quietly beside a ring of stones. The little bear placed one final stone into the circle, and a soft echo moved through the clearing. Not a sound, a knowing. The fox wasn't there, but somehow he would have smiled. Lulu took a deep breath. The air felt warmer now, not from heat, but from presence. She stepped back from the jar and looked at her friends, at Milo, who gathered the forgotten, at Tella, who lived in shadow but shined, and at Bim, who spoke without speaking and made silence into memory. Will the stars stay here forever? Lulu asked. Milo shook his head gently. No, they'll bloom, slowly. Some will rise again. Some will become fireflies. Some will grow into dreams. And if someone needs them, Tella whispered, they'll find a way, he said. Wishes always do, when you make space. Lulu looked up at the sky. It was still missing stars, but now she understood. They weren't gone. They were becoming. As they left the clearing, the glow behind them faded slowly, like twilight drifting into sleep. No one looked back. They didn't need to. Because now, each of them carried a little light of their own.
Now it's quiet, night is near. Drift away through stars so clear. Lulu whispers soft and bright. Sleep so well and good night. Sweetest dreams will softly flow. Lulu stays with you, you know. Till we meet again, my dear. Let your dreams keep drawing near. Till we meet again, my dear. Let your dreams keep drawing.